I am Dana Malcolm. Rashid Hassan is here with me. We have your evening edition of Top Stories for Monday, December 4th, 2023. Coming up, the news that matters most.
There is simply nowhere else in the Turks and Caicos Islands that you can find such a wholesome variety of your favorite fresh foods. There is simply nowhere else in the Turks and Caicos Islands that you can find such outstanding service. And there is simply nowhere else in the TCI to answer your every food craving in a chic, comfortable, centrally located store. That's a place you can trust. Number one is Graceway IGA. Fresh, service, trust for over 20 years.
December paychecks will be significantly fatter as an increase described as the largest ever single-phase increase by the government is put in effect. Public sector workers will see pay raises of between 10 and 40% this month following the government's pay and grading review. Anya Williams, head of the Public Service and Deputy Governor, made the announcement earlier today during a national press conference. She tells us now what that increase will look like for teachers.
The basic salary for a head of department in the Ministry of Education has been increased to $56,037, while the basic salary for a vice principal has been increased to $66,610, and for principals to $79,178.
Hundreds of people had tuned into the press conference anticipating the announcements of higher pay. It will cost the government $18.2 million to provide all the increases, and they will be in effect for the very next paycheck. Coming up in the morning, we look at what the other public sector workers are getting. As one of the largest irregular settlements in the Turks and Caicos, Dockyard is dangerous. Here's why.
The density, the inability to access utilities, the inability to dispose of waste.
That was Carlos Simons, head of the Informal Settlement Unit, speaking to media during a November 27th press briefing. It is the ISU's mandate, he says, to fix these issues. He also said it was very likely there would be persons found without status when the ISU went in to do its work, but maintained the objective of this exercise is not to expose illegal immigrants. The removal of illegal structures in the area begins on January 8th, 2024. We go now to Rashid Hassan. He has your top stories from around the region. Magnetic Media is your news leader.
Hey! This Christmas is all about you. Yeah, boy. Flow brings the joy and better value. Together, imagine all we could do. Prizes and offers inspired by you.
Activate a 30-day always-on prepaid mobile plan and get 50% off the ZTE A31 Plus and pay only $58 this holiday season.
This Christmas is all about you. Telling you, boy. Flow brings the joy and better value.
Flow, connecting hearts and homes this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
It's now time for your regional top stories. I'm Rashid Hassan. Several earthquakes were recorded in the Caribbean over the weekend, a total of 7 happening near Guadeloupe, Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis Friday night into Saturday. 2 more were recorded, one Sunday night and the other early this morning. The U.S. Seismic Research Center urges Caribbean citizens to plan, practice, and prepare as the region is active regarding earthquakes. The world urgently needs a methane agreement to help control the levels of methane in the atmosphere, says Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley.
The science must be simple. To turn down the heat, you simply have to turn down the methane. And until we accept that, we will go over a tipping point.
She was speaking at COP28. The gas methane has doubled in the atmosphere over the past 200 years and is responsible for 20 to 30% of climate warming, according to NASA. Magnetic Media is your news leader. See these stories in full in the next edition of The Magnate.
You can always find what you're looking for and what you need at Quality Food World. Shop retail, shop wholesale. Quality has the brands you know, the brands you love. Always quality. Big savings every day. And remember to look out for sales for even bigger savings. Open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mondays through Saturdays. Open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays. On the 5 Keys Access Road. Quality Food World, a prime trading company.
An explosive December 1st New York Times report is accusing Israeli officials of knowing about the plans for the October 7th Hamas attack, but not the exact date, for up to a year before Hamas militants carried it out. The Times claims Israeli officials dismissed the 40-page plan as too difficult for the militant group to carry out. Over 200 people were captured, over 300 killed, and over 1,000 injured in that attack. Since then, Israeli forces have bombed the Gaza Strip relentlessly. The Gaza Health Ministry says over 15,000 Palestinians have been killed, 6,000 of which are registered children. A 7-day truce ended on Friday with little hope of its revival. Israeli allies like the U.S. blame Hamas for breaking the truce with the murder of 3 civilians in Jerusalem, while the Gaza Health Ministry says Israel sent in warplanes early Friday, killing at least 180. That is it for this edition of the news. I am Dana Malcolm with Rashid S. on Top Stories in 5 is a Magnetic Media production. Thank you for joining us.